Kelsey Behymer, and I am a second-year PhD student at Oregon State University in the Environmental Sciences graduate program. And I am a part of the Free Choice Learning Lab, which collectively studies science education in informal settings. So where I come in is in the marine tourism context. So I've worked for a number of years professionally as an environmental educator and naturalist on marine tour vessels, and over the years I've experienced citizen science being used more and more frequently on board marine tour vessels. And as a scientist myself, so my background is in marine biology, I've recognized that there is great potential for more of this as a research opportunity, but also as a tool for science communication. And so through my PhD program, I've been diving into the literature, and citizen science is being more and more widely recognized as producing valid, peer-reviewed research, but also, again, as this science communication piece. So this project was specifically trying to understand marine scientists' perceptions, so their thoughts, feelings, and experiences on both citizen science and marine tourism, as well as the challenges and opportunities that either they've experienced or they would expect to find for these two things to be integrated. I have lots of takeaways that I'm sure will come up as I wrap up my analysis. I'm pretty early in that stage, but a couple of the interesting things that I've taken away from these interviews are that marine scientists seem to really understand the value of these projects in marine tourism, particularly to ground truth other data that they are collecting themselves or that's being collected by more standardized instruments. So that was a really interesting thing to hear from a lot of people, this potential for citizen science to really validate work that's already being done and fill in research gaps over larger scales. Another thing that's really interesting is that scientists are really feeling like they can't say empirically whether or not engagement in citizen science does contribute to people being more willing to change their behavior, that people seem to enjoy the experience, and so they assume that that's good for science communication, but we really are lacking in terms of formal evaluation. So what that translates to me, and what came up in several interviews, was just a need for a more comprehensive assessment or evaluation of learning outcomes from these citizen science projects on board tour vessels, and not just from a perspective of knowing whether or not people learn from participating, but being able to give that back to scientists to say, here, this really is supporting your work or supporting your outreach goals. I think at this point I have a lot of directions I could go with my dissertation work, but through these scientist interviews I'm starting to get an understanding of what's really needed, and also how my assessment tools that I hope to develop later in my dissertation work can best address the concerns and just the general perceptions that scientists have, as I really feel that scientist engagement is a really important piece in this larger goal of communicating science. So it's not just up to the people who are facilitating these projects, so the marine tour operators, but you really need to have scientists on board and feeling confident that these efforts are worth it and that they're valuable both from a research perspective but also a science communication perspective. So I think that's probably as much as I'd like to introduce this study with, and hopefully within the capacity of these poster sessions we'll get some thoughts and feedback from all of you, as I am early in this stage, and I'm just really grateful to be a part of this fascinating collection of people and a part of this RS Summit. It's my first time being connected, so I'm really looking forward to learning from everyone else's research as well. So thanks for listening and for your interest and for your feedback. Really looking forward to that.